As stated before by my fellow government peers, corruptors need to be severely punished for the crimes that they committed towards the public. And one way to do this is to impoverish them up to the point that they will no longer be able to commit corruption again. The member of the government has previously given a worthy solution that should ease the worries of the opposition, in which corruptors will be severely punished through impoverishment, but not enough to make them a burden on the state. In essence, these corruptors will be taking skill building classes, and when they leave prison, they will be able to open businesses and even get a job. But to ensure that they are not corrupt after prison, they will need to submit weekly financial reports to the local authorities to ensure that they remain in good behavior. However, there might be some holes in the solution that the member of the government proposed that the opposition might be worried about. Therefore, the first point of this government whip's argument will be based on clarifying and providing further details regarding the solution the member of the government has so graciously provided beforehand. And the second point of this government whip's argument is regarding impoverishing the corruptors that work with the corruptor that work with the main corruptor. And then the third point of this government whip's argument is to discuss about the welfare of the victims that were affected by the ex-corruptor's actions. So, for the first point, the opposition might be worried regarding the punishment of the corruptors. So, really, the punishment of the corruptors should be based on each person's financial situation, punishing them to the point where they'll be deterred from corrupting ever again. However, how do we do this? So, this is not really mentioned in the member of the government's plan. So, how do we ensure that the punishment of the corruptors should the punishment of the corruptors will deter them from corrupting ever again? What if the corruptors is rich in the first place, and that when the corruptor gets out of prison, the corruptor will be able to set up businesses and get a job, but because the corruptor will still have a lot of money, the said corruptor will be able to manipulate and bribe certain officials, and then they will become corrupt again. Therefore, to ensure that this doesn't happen, one part of the solution that the member of the government has to provided is that if the person has a strong financial situation, if the corruptor is actually quite rich, then the corruptor will be punished more strongly than the corruptor that is poor. And so the goal is that at the end of the day, both the rich corruptor and the poor corruptor will have the same exact financial situation. That should be in the policy as well. Is that at the end, whether the corruptor was rich or poor, they will have the same exact financial situation. A rather bad financial situation, but enough to make a decent living. But then, as for the weekly financial reports that they have to submit to local authorities, they will need to do this for 10 years minimum to ensure that they remain in good behavior. It is also possible to extend this mandatory reporting of financial situation to more than 10 years if there is good reason to do so. Now, for the second point, is regarding the ambiguity of this motion. So so far, my previous government peers, as well as the opposition members, only speak about what a single corruptor. What happens if what happens if how should he be impoverished if he gets caught? But we still have not discussed about what happens if his or her fellow corruptors, what will happen to them because they weren't caught. So there is a good chance that his or her fellow corruptors may back down, they will stop being corrupt, or they may actually take extra precaution. And it is actually also quite difficult for us to. It can be a difficult situation for us to determine if the people connected to the corruptor in question are actually also fellow corruptors or not. Therefore, to remedy this issue, any person connected to the corruptor in question will need to report his or her financial situation weekly to the local authorities for up to 5 years minimum, in which it may be extended if necessary if there is any suspicious behavior. This is an important policy to implement so that the prevention of further corruption will be more widespread, and then the state will not be quite so burdened by these actions. So now this humble government whip will move on to his third point. If the opposition was quite adamant on the welfare of the ex-corruptors after they leave prison, even though the solution the member of the government proposed is already took already confronted this situation, maybe the opposition will still think, okay, but what if something's happened and then they still wouldn't and they will still take a toll on the state. But then this government would like to propose this idea as well. If yours, why is the opposition so focused on the welfare of the ex-corruptors when they forget about the welfare of the victims that have their money wrongfully used? Wouldn't they be on the burden of the state as well? The effects of the victims being robbed or having their money wrongfully used will have a far greater effect on the welfare of the state as compared to how the corruptors will fare. So therefore, it is important that we also satisfy the victims by ensuring that the reparations given to the state by the ex-corruptors be immediately distributed to the victims that are affected, to ensure that the victims will not be a burden to the state. It is also to be added by this common whip that the corruptors should not be only impoverished of their wealth, but also of their image to the society, in which they should issue apology to the victims in question, and also show remorse for their actions. Ladies and gentlemen, corruption is like a poison, sickening the society and creating chaos in the community. It should be rooted out and obliterated in the interest of the people. Therefore, the government whip, on behalf of the government, reiterates that these corruptors will be punished through impoverishment for the betterment of the society. Thank you.